Morning, guys. Just woke up. Just made a cup of tea. I wanted to introduce a book that Karen, one of our subscribers, one of our members, sent to me. Membership is only $1. We keep it at $1 because I want to keep it at the lowest cost. So it's not about the money. It's just about building up membership. So please subscribe and become a member. Right. So this is the book that Karen sent me. I'm speaking quietly because the kids are asleep. The strange medical saga of Elvis Presley. I don't really like the title, The Strange, um, but I've heard it's a very good book. Dr. Forrest Tennant. Um, let's learn a few things about it. What does it say on the front here? It's got a picture of some records in Memphis shown at night in the 1950s. This was the brainchild of Sam Phillips, who discovered and launched Elvis Presley, as well as other stars, including Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash, and Carl Perkins. So, I have not read any of this book, so I'm guessing that it introduces you to the history of Elvis. So I want to thank Karen for sending me a book. Anyone that sends me books, thank you so much. So it says The Strange Medical Saga of Elvis Presley, published by Tennant Foundation, West Covina in California. There's some acknowledgements. What year was it? It says copyright 2021. Now I did look it up on Google just to see what happens, what comes up, sorry. The book is dedicated to Ingrid Hollis, her tireless commitment to not only this book, but to the care of persons suffering with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and the intractable pain syndrome, have provided both invaluable editorial assistance and humanitarian inspiration. So let's have a look. How many chapters have we got? We've got 20 chapters. Yes, scanning through them, it says things like the beginning of miracles in Tupelo, genetics emerge, medical warnings for the musical genius between 1935 and 1948. Well, that's interesting. So it does discuss. I'm guessing it discusses Elvis as a small boy, as a teenager. Fame and fortune, terrible health habits from 1949 to 1966. Look, guys, we're not going to kid ourselves. There was obviously prescription medication abuse and these medications are addictive, but we have to understand why. So, what kind of pain was Elvis in? What problems was Elvis trying to fix? Elvis's doctors trying to cure? So, it's complicated, isn't it, guys? But I'm not here to whitewash Elvis, but I do think Elvis was seriously unwell. So we've got fame and fortune. So then it says Nicopolis. I'm guessing that's the doctor, Dr. Nicopolis. Traumatic brain injury. We've heard about this, haven't we? Multi-system disease emerges. This is 67 to 77. Now, has that been linked with the brain injury? I think it is. Intractable pain syndrome, 1973 to 1977. Then we have an autoimmunity, 1973 to 1977. A fight to thrive and survive, 1973 to 1977. Then chapter 11, Death of the King. Then now we're going more into medical recollections of 1981. So this, I think this person still had copies of medical documents. Let's have a look. I mean, I'm guessing at the moment because I haven't read it, guys. We've got false claims and a good Samaritan, settling the death issue, heart and drugs, medical facts erase some myths. Okay, so some of the things that have been repeated again and again. It says here we erase some myths. Then there's a summary. Then there's a medical chronology. Can't even say that in the morning. Selected bibliography. Medical references. And then there's a hospital. It's such a. I'll have a cup of tea. Hospitalization summaries. Now that is going to be interesting because it literally lists every time Elvis went to hospital, all his hospital admissions and all the treatments that he received with notes and medication that he was being given whilst in hospital. So just quickly, this is page 183. I'll read a couple. So for example, this is a summary, okay, of hospitalizations. This is Appendix 20. So it says here on October the 16th and 17th, Elvis was in the Baptist Memorial Hospital. His treatment was, no, his treating physicians were F.P. Sage, who was a surgeon. There was an intern or resident, John Williams. There were other physicians, so J.L. Booth for an X-ray, and Dr. Wiley. Diagnosis, a finger fracture. So that's interesting. Let me just quickly, if I read a couple of them. So they say they gave him 100 grams of Demerol. You know, people talk about Demerol in a horrible way, but I think back then, 1960, it was quite a normal thing to be prescribed by a doctor. So it says here that Elvis had an allergy to codeine. And then no other known allergies, right? Then a physician orders and diet. So concerning his sleep, the nurse's notes, he refused ice caps to his hand, states he cannot sleep. Ice caps. 2 a.m. requests a sedative. So they give him Seconal. If we go further down, treatment. It lists the doctors again and the consultants. So what they say is that the diagnosis was that he had edema, a secondary to cortisone injection, gastric ulcer, hypertension, essential toxic hepatitis. Wonder what that means. Essential. So did Elvis have hepatitis? I don't know, guys. Post-concussion syndrome. So Dr. Nick's recollection came into hospital with severe respiratory distress, marked swelling and distended abdomen and semi-conscious. Yeah, I heard about this. Elvis had gone somewhere for a treatment and became really, really sick. I think I read it, close to death. Now, I'm going to read all this stuff, but this is just a sample of what we're going to be looking into. Remember, we're learning as fans. We don't know anything, but this is very interesting. We're talking, there's 10 pages of different times when Elvis was in the hospital, the dates, the treatments, the diagnosis. There's one even here that says facelift. It's going to be fascinating. I mean, it's not for everyone, is it? But so there is. I did see a page when I was flicking through. I saw a page. Look at this. There's a section here. I know that's just discussing his different records. I saw a page that actually listed all the different medical conditions that Elvis had. I wonder if I'm going to find it. There's a newspaper clip, Dr. Nicopolis drug treatment. Looks like quite an easy read, guys. I just want to see that page that literally listed every illness that Elvis had. So there's one here: edema, cortisone injection, a gastric ulcer, hypertension, toxic hepatitis. I wonder what that is. Obviously headaches, concussion, sigmoid volvulus, I can't even read that. Megacolon, hypertension, fatty infiltrates of the liver, high cholesterol, hypertension, chronic obstruction, pulmonary disease, megacolon from laxatives, gastroenteritis, and lumboscal strain, a mild anemia. So it does say on the megacolon he was taking too many laxatives, but you would, wouldn't you? If you can't go to the toilets, you're gonna take laxatives, aren't you? So what does it say here? Look, alleviated blood pressure, alleviated temperature and breathing rates, insomnia. So we've got I'm not sure what this bit is. It's anorexia, malnutrition. I'm not really sure what that is. Elevated inflammatory markers. Oh, it says seldom next to that. Restriction of certain life activities, decreased capability requirements of daily living. So Elvis was seriously impacted, wasn't he? So we're going to go through this in better detail. I can't read it word for word because I'm not allowed to. Here we are. There's a list of things that Elvis had. So, when people try and blame Elvis and call him a drug addict, they really don't understand that he was sick. He was sick. But we do have to understand that the prescription medication, if there was abuse and, basically taking too many, that could also have caused health problems. We have to accept that. But he also 100% did need his prescription medication. What do? You turn to your doctor when you're not well. You want help. What does your doctor do? Gives you medicine, gives you prescription medications. What else can a doctor do, really? So Elvis wanted to fix himself. He wanted to get better, wanted to get through the day. It wasn't all about, wanting to get stoned or high off his face. It wasn't about that. It was about fixing himself, relieving pain, soothing his body, relaxing, having more energy, feeling better. So it says on here, obsessive compulsive behavior, eating, insomnia, paranoia, temper outbursts and rages, irrational spending, bizarre. This is just symptoms. Let's have a look. So obviously headaches. This is just telling you that if you've got this thing that's called behaviors and symptoms possibly caused, right? Okay. So this isn't things that he had. This is things that can happen if you've got this behaviors and symptoms possibly caused by TBI. I don't know what TBI is. But they're saying he had TBI. And it's saying it could have accelerated and worsened his genetic connection tissue collagen disorder. There's a lot to go through, isn't there, guys? Right, so let me just see if we can see what TBI is. So he did seem to have constant headaches and worsening insomnia. Today we know a lot about TBIs, studies in football players. So this must be the brain injury, is that right? from the head injury. Determine the head injury, especially if repeated, causes a form of long-term brain dysfunction. Okay, again, we have to read it. However, the term traumatic, here we go. Sorry, guys. The term traumatic brain injury. So that's what this is simply used in medical practice. So there is a possibility Elvis had traumatic brain injury, and we have read this. Many people have told me about this. Did he fall over in the bath or in the shower or something like that? Okay, so I want to go through this in more detail. Obviously, thank you to Karen. So I just thought we'd quickly read this on screen, and then we'll probably do some live streams discussing this book, The Strange Medical Saga of Elvis Presley. So this came up on Google. Front page headlines on the day Elvis Presley died showed the deep feelings so many had for the first and only king of rock and roll. His early death at a young age was a shock. Not even 24 hours passed after his death before the controversies started around the cause of his death. Did he really die of a heart attack, as stated by the county coroner? Or was his death a drug overdose, heart or drugs? What actually killed him? What were Elvis Presley's health issues that plagued him during his short life? Why was he in so much pain? Why the early death? His full medical saga has only recently begun to be thoroughly examined. After all these years, people still want to know what happened. And that's true, isn't it, guys? What happened to the king 3 years after his death? Right, so this is Dr. Forrest Tennant speaking now, I think. I served as the major expert defense witness for Elvis's doctor, Dr. George C. Nicopolis. The district attorney of Shelby County originally wanted to charge him with murder, manslaughter for intentionally prescribing to harm Elvis Presley, but the charges were changed to prescribing without legitimate medical purpose. The jury promptly acquitted him. But I was left with many questions about what exactly was physically wrong with Elvis. The question of what was it heart or was it drugs, remained unanswered. In the years since his death, medical research has advanced to the point that we have new insight regarding his underlying health problems and untimely death. Many of the mysteries of Elvis's life and death, which I hope to unveil in this book, can now be answered. I am in a unique position of being the only physician in the country who still has Elvis's full medical records from the trial. So we know about the trial, don't we, with Dr. Nick. With expertise in internal medicine, addiction and pain medicine, along with having personally known his physicians, okay? I'm in a unique position to help uncover the mysterious medical saga. I hope to shed some light on his health issues and hopefully, with the help of medical science and common sense, solve the mysteries of what really happened to Elvis Forrest Tennant. What really happened to Elvis. And then he signs it, Forrest Tennant. So was Forrest Tennant a doctor? I don't think he was a doctor. Was he an actual doctor? I don't know, guys. So then we've got some write-ups on the back and front. Let's have a look. All right, so I've just read what's on the back page. Forrest Tennant has spent most of his medical career as a practicing physician. So he's a physician and a researcher in the fields of addiction and pain medication. He has published over 300 scientific articles and books in these fields. And for his efforts, he was recently given a 50-year achievement award by Pain Week. In this 50 years span, he has been a US Army medical officer, a professor, a public health physician, a drug advisor for the Los Angeles Dodgers and NASCAR and the National Football League. He was the editor and practical pain management for 12 years. He recently retired from clinical practice to do research on intractable pain and the spinal cord disorder known as arachnoptitis. He and his wife, Mariam, have been married for 55 years and they split their residence between West Covina and California and Wichita, Kansas, where they headquarters their real estate company, Tennant Homes. Their charitable giving and medical research are sponsored by the Tennant Foundation. And there's a picture of them there. I wonder if it will let us see a picture. Let's have a look. But, you know, it does seem that pain management is a real big thing with him. Should we see if we can get a picture? I'm sure it will do. So that's it, guys. Just a little introduction. I'm going to post this now. And then we'll come back, do some live streams. So here we go. I'm guessing that's him. Hope I've got the right one. Just check you can see it on screen. Yeah. So is it the same one? Let me have a look. It does look, yeah, I think that is him. Yeah. So, there we go, guys. So I'm hoping that this man gives a more of a fair view of understanding that Elvis wasn't just some druggie trying to get stoned, and that Elvis was genuinely sick. I do think, from what Karen told me, because she sent me some notes, that obviously the prescription medication he was taking probably sometimes made things worse and were addictive. So, okay, guys, I think that's it for the morning. So thanks to Karen for giving me this book. What are we really trying to do here, guys? We're trying to understand that Elvis wasn't just some druggie trying to get stoned, that he was sick. The problem with the perception of Elvis, the portrayal of Elvis, people around the world, just even though he was a beautiful, gifted man with a beautiful voice, a lovely man, a good Christian man, there's too much emphasis on his weight and the fact that he took drugs. Yeah, I mean, I like to call them prescription medication. Not enough emphasis on the good that Elvis did and the lovely man that he was, and not enough people understand that Elvis was very sick. In fact, I would say many people, that if you ask them about Elvis, they don't know that he was sick. They just think he was a druggie. And we here at Defending Elvis want to make a difference and show the world that he was no druggie. But yes, he had chronic health problems. He was born with them, inherited them, grew up with them. Very, very serious insomnia. You get it, guys? We're trying to defend Elvis. So we'll do our bit, guys. We'll do the little bit we can on our tiny little YouTube channel. Okay, guys, good morning to you. I'm going to go make a coffee and wake up a bit more, and then we'll come back for some live streams. Check us out on Defending Elvis Presley live streams. Please like, please subscribe, usual stuff. Take care.